Hello everybody and welcome back. It's round 8 of the ACK Championship today. We're 8 rounds through the season already. It's been action-packed and we're expecting even more as we close in on the last 3 rounds of the season. Today we are at Wackersdorf karting track in Germany. A fantastic track that's outdoors and it's a massive track that just sprawls so many different corners, and it's going to provide a lot of challenges to our drivers, particularly in the Joker laps today as they take on this huge track. So we're expecting a lot of action here. Yes, 12 turns. We're not sure how many to left or right, but it's a long track indeed. Over a minute lap time. And the championship is looking as close as ever. With Jim Paris, Jan Lemons, and Nico Titch. They're not even here today. They're not here to defend for their potential title. So Soren, who is in the top 5 of the championship, has a great opportunity to close in on Jim Paris and pull away from Jan Lemons at the front. As we move, this is going to be Group 1, and we're waiting now. It's only 20 seconds till the start of qualifying, but at the start of qualifying, drivers will do a 1-lap qualifying to find out where they'll place for the 5-minute sprint race, and then after 5 minutes, we'll move into another sprint race, and then finally with 2 finals, with the top half of drivers making the B final and the top half of drivers making the A final, and the slower half of the drivers making the B final. But the B final drivers can get promoted to the A final, so it's all to play for. And here we go. We're now into overtime. We're waiting for the start of the race, and it's going to be a 1-lap qualifying. So we're just waiting now as drivers probably finishing their laps, and we'll get underway here. But there's lots to look out for in this first session. Pierre-Eligio de Sante. Now, he is one of the top seeded drivers going into this round, and he will be looking for a win, I am sure. And we are missing a set of drivers at the moment, and they haven't got long to join at the moment. So, we're hoping that they're going to join. Just looking at this at the moment, and I calculate we're missing 3 drivers, and if they miss the start of qualifying, that's not very good. One driver in particular that I'm looking at, Saeed Hassan. Saeed Hassan hasn't joined the serve yet. Now, he's a driver who multiple times before has just joined after the qualifying session, has to start from the back, and that's what he's risking at the moment. So we're still just waiting for the start of qualifying here. It's probably because the video game is waiting for a driver to finish the line, so we're hoping they'll push along, and indeed it has. So this is now the start of qualifying, the first qualifying of our evening together here. So we're 8 rounds to the championship now, and every category is open at the moment. All categories are open. We're seeing Andres Lanzadas, who is leading the bronze category, and he actually probably has the safer lead out of all the categories. And then Harry Power and Marty Sheplo in this qualifying, 2 drivers who are at the front of the silver category, and they're only 3 points apart. And then finally, Pierre-Eligio is probably the top-seeded gold driver here, and the driver that will want to be as far forward as possible for the final, should I say. And it starts with this 1-lap qualifying. Now, as drivers come round, space is important here. One driver that hasn't left the pit lane yet is Mate Sheplo. So once he leaves the pit lane, it's going to be important he gets out soon, because we're seeing Jaco now. Jaco on his second round of the championship. I'm not aware of Jaco. I wasn't around for the last round, but I heard a good performance from Jaco himself, as Mate Sheplo does leave the pit lane, so he will get a lap in here. And we're seeing a group of 3 drivers. Now we're seeing drivers slow down. This is the last bit of the track where you can slow down, and looks like Minisham is going to be the first across the line here. As no, Minisham does spin out on his qualifying lap. Is he going to let other drivers through? Oh, I'm not sure what to see there, but that's what happens when you warp your tyres. You do a bit too much steering. As now, Harry Power does slow down by looks. Harry Power looks like he has spun around, but we're going to see now. Oren's going to be the driver to start the lap here, and Jaco's going to go with him. And Pierre-Eligio is the 3rd car across the line. So now, as we go through this lap, let's have a look. Now, we're going to follow the sectors of the drivers. So far, Oren was the fastest on the outlaps, but there was a lot of tyre warming going on, so we're not sure what to think. Mate Sheplo now is going fastest, and Just Lanzadas has given himself a huge gap at the back now. He wants to qualify well. As drivers are coming around now, Oren leading away from Jaco. As now halfway through the lap, let's see who's fastest. Pierre-Eligio is actually the fastest in the first second, not by much. Jaco is very close behind here. As Mate Sheplo does start his lap, so he is going to get across and start a lap here. All drivers out on track. So let's find out now as we see Oren come through those hairpins to the back, and little bit of contact there with the barrier. That's going to slow him down a little bit. As we see now, Jacob does close in on him. It's not going to be close enough, so he's going to be very safe here. Jacob will be worried. When you see a driver in front crash on their qualifying lap, it's always concerning. You always think, oh, is he going to get in my way? But he hasn't here. So we're going to see him follow his lap. It's not going to be a great time from Oren, I don't think. He probably will drop down the order a little bit. He has lost a lot in that third sector. But Oren across the line. And Jacob does go ahead. Yes, Pierre Ligier to the top. Pierre Ligier now first place. We're now in for Zach, and Zach looks like he is stopped on his qualifying lap. Harry Power now across the line. Harry Power, where will he go? Harry Power goes third fastest. Zach Minisham has spun out, so he will go to the back as we're now waiting on two drivers. Andreas Lonzardis, the leader of the bronze category. He's now yet to come across the line. Where can Andreas put it? His time's looking okay in the sectors, but we won't know till he crosses the line. Andreas Lonzardis goes fourth. Yes, a struggling middle sector by looks. But Marty Sheplo, last cross line, here he comes. Fast as he can down the straight. Marty Sheplo goes fourth, just ahead of Andreas Lonzardis. So great set of laps there from all drivers. But that is the end of qualifying, and that is your grid for this 5-minute sprint race. It's a very short race. There's no joke laps either in this race, so it's important that you just go as fast as you can to make that A final. But we see Jaco is the pole position sitter with Pierre Ligier alongside him. Now the camera, not a great camera I would say for this race start, but we'll move on hopefully with a different angle in a minute. But here we go. It's 6 red lights. The first sprint race is about to go ahead, and we are away. Now, driving off. Who will get the better start? Jaco does look like he gets a slightly better start on the inside. Pierre Ligier does actually get the better start. But will he cut across him? No, he's got to give space to Jaco. And it's all about being patient here. It's just a 5-minute race as we see. What is that? That's Martin Sheplo up into second. No, Martin does drop back behind. Jaco overshoots the corner. Pierre Ligier to first. That's something we expected immediately. Pierre Ligier, a driver who will want to win this first sprint race. He has a chance here with Jim Paris, Jan Leems and Nico Titch away to win his first race of the season. A race that he will want to win absolutely. As we see now, Pierre Ligier just moving, like going with Jaco. Jaco, will he decide to work with Pierre, or will he want to retake that position for the lead? As we see them go down the back straight now. And we see a lot of actions on the midfield. Martin Sheplo had an issue, so did Zach. We're seeing Andres Lonzardis then just tailing on the end of this little pack. There's all to play for in these races at the moment. And with a lap over a minute, we're going to see, very short laps. It looks like it's only going to be a 4-lap race, from my calculations back here at least. As now we see Pierre Ligier going on the back straight to finish the first lap of this race, and Jaco now down the inside. He won't have enough to stay there. No, Pierre Ligier does stay to the inside. Will we see defending from Pierre Ligier? Are we going to see a very sort of together mentality? No, Jaco does put his nose there, but he doesn't get it. He does lose that momentum to Pierre Ligier ever so slightly. As we see Harry Power does overshoot the corner there as well. Oren just holding it behind in fourth, and just Lonzardis in fifth. Martin Sheplo is catching this pack in sixth, with Zach in seventh in this first sprint race. And at the moment, we now see Pierre Ligier does set the fastest first sector by a good 4/10 to Jaco. So is this where Jaco's going to start falling off? I'm not sure at the moment. We've already only got 3 minutes left in this race. We are going to get 4, maybe 5 laps of racing here, and it's all about that second sprint race. And who will come out on top in that second sprint race? Because the points are there to be taken. We're now coming through to finish the second lap of this race, and Jaco has stayed on the back of Pierre, and now you're starting to think, I'm safe for an A final. You'd also think I'm safe for a top 4 here, as now we're seeing possibly down the inside. No, he doesn't. Pierre Ligier does defend the inside, but he does clip the curve there slightly. Now Jaco is on the inside. Will he go for it? Yes, he does, but he does get sort of bogged down ever so slightly. Pierre Ligier does hold the lead there. I'm not sure if he let him back through with the contact, but he has dropped back slightly as Harry Power now is on the back of Jaco. Now will Jaco start thinking, right, now I've got a safe top 4. It's worth just, staying here, finishing second, staying in that top 4 for the A final. I'm not sure. Harry Power though looks like he's pushing his way to an A final at the moment, alongside the rest. Looking back to the field, Oren and Andres Lonzardis are just, at the moment, just sort of battling, not too much, sitting on the line at the moment. Andreas might be keen to get past Oren here, because that could be the case of him getting to the A final. He will definitely be on the line here, I would say. as Pierre Ligia now has quite a clear lead there in first, as Jaco now is falling into the hands of Harry Power in third place. So, with only a minute to go, looks like we are going to get another race. Another lap here, because it's only a 1 minute 6 lap at the moment, and there's 1 minute 18 on the clock. So we're going to get 2 more laps here. So drivers can, and we're actually seeing Oren defend here down the back straight. It just caught my eye. Oren is defending, and Andres Lanzadas now going to the outside. Will he cut to the inside here? Oren does stay to the inside. We're seeing some super defending here from Oren. Fantastic to see, and Andres just pushes him through. It was a friendly bit of contact, nothing too serious, just to say, all right, you stopped on the apex. Here's the loan. We can push you back forward. But it's great to see Andres Lanzadas, and he does hit the curbs slightly there, Andreas. These curbs are very slippery here at Wackersdorf. So, as we come through now, Pierre Ligia probably is going to have to go for one more lap. Jaco now is under big pressure from what I can see from Harry Power. Will Harry Power go for the move? We're not sure at the moment. We haven't seen it. Yes, Harry Power is into second. Harry Power, the British driver, up into second place. Now, was there contact? I'm not too sure. Looks like Harry Power did just go down the inside, but there is a huge gap to Pierre Ligia. And Pierre Ligia is setting fastest sector after fastest sector. His current best lap is a 1 minute 6.043, which is that good enough for pole position to start on the inside for the A final. I'm not sure. As we're now seeing Lanzadas. Lanzadas now is the one in front. Lanzadas has gotten ahead of Oren. Now, this could be the fight for the A final right here. The driver behind may have to drop to the B final at this rate. As we see now down the inside, Lanzadas does defend, and he defends really well. Andres Lanzadas, he is only 9 years old from what I believe, from what I've been told. And he's driving with just great defense from such a young driver. And he gets on the curb again, Oren. This time, Oren instead of Andreas. But it's fantastic to see. And he has dropped off here slightly from Andres Lanzadas. That might be enough. But Pierre Ligia, coming around the final set of corners, it was fairly simple for him. It was an unfortunate qualifying, starting second, but he got up into first. He bowed to the pressure of Jaco, and now Jaco has actually dropped to third from that. And Harry Power looks like, here we go, Harry Power does come second place. Fantastic from Harry Power there. Jaco in third position. He will make the A final with that. Andreas Lanzadas coming across the line in fourth with Oren fifth, and Mate Shepard. What can I say? We'll need to see what happens to him, but sixth place, he's going to have to do it from the B final at this rate. And we see Zach Minisham driving around. Unfortunate for him, but he will come back, I'm sure, in the B final. So, that is your first short and sweet sprint race here for ACK round 8. But we've got one more sprint race coming up for you just very shortly. So stay with us for the second sprint race coming up in around about 5 minutes. Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Sprint Race 2 now, and a very active Sprint Race 2. There's a lot of drives in this one, to be honest with you. It's a very stacked group when you look at it. You know, we've got Baptista van der Beek, the controller player, but the fantastic control player, who will be looking for the A-finals today, I'm sure. We've got Theo Rafter. Very little practice from Theo today, but he will be looking for that A-final. He finished 6th last time out of Vandel Go-Kart when he drove, so it's going to look out for him. Adam Sherbert, the fantastic Adam Sherbert. We always say he's fantastic, but he's also one of the championship contenders here. He is in this group. We've got Barry T. Barry T, a very impressive driver last time I watched him race, making the A-final on his debut. And we got the debuts of, and of course we got Soren. Now Soren is the driver to look out for. We will be watching Soren very closely, because if he can win today's sprint race, win the A-final, and take the fastest lap, we could see a closing in on Jim Paris as the current championship leader, who is not here today. We're not sure where Jim is, to be honest with you. So Jim, if you're out there, give us a wave. But you know, it's very interesting from Soren that he does have, you know, a very low score in his hand at the moment. Only 43 points from his debut in ACK, Soren. And that's going to hinder him when we come to the end of the season. But there are drop rounds, and that's the most important thing. But at the moment, he needs a 54-point score from today to make sure that he can fire his way with that order for the championship. So, we've only got 20 seconds to go now before the start of qualifying, and we can expect all drivers out on track for this one. And it's going to be a very interesting qualifying. We're also seeing debuts today from Rubens, a new driver in the championship, Nykiller 6, a new driver, Nykiller, we'll call him Nye, in fact, and Hugo Deval on his first race of the season. And of course, we got George Iliev as well. Now, the fantastic George Iliev, the A finalist from the last time I watched him race. Can he make the A final this time? He had to win the B final last time to get there. So, very interesting from him. It's going to be very interesting all round, I'd say, in this race. We're going to see who goes through. But we're now into overtime, and we're just waiting for the start of qualifying here. And yes, no, this is the start of qualifying. Now, they get one lap, and they got to make it their best lap. That's the important thing. Who will be first out the pit lane here? It's usually a big race to see who can lead that qualifying lap. You need to assess who's in front and who's behind you. It's great to see if you can get a fast driver, a very fast driver like Soren maybe in front of you, and you can just follow him along, and maybe he'll pull you to the top half for the race. As now we're seeing all drivers out on track. All 10 drivers have made it on track, which is great to see. And they've got a lot of space. It's a 1-minute lap time here, so they don't have to rush around. You know, you can pull to the side, probably wait even up to 30 seconds before starting your lap. You know, to get the tyres warm, or just to wait for that to a space. And that's what we're seeing David Roger do at the moment. David Roger, the last driver around, he's just tiptoeing around at the moment because he knows he can. We see Nye though leading. Nye and Ruben, both on ACK debuts, and not messing around. They're both sending it now to start the lap. Baptista van der Beek though has slowed down before starting his lap, but he has now sent it. Will he get held up by Rubens? I'm not sure. Bit of confidence there to stay only one corner behind a potential, a debutant to the ACK series. But now we're seeing them all come across the line. They've all practiced though. That's the most important thing. As we see them now all coming across the line, we'll look at the sectors they come through. Adam Sherp is left it quite late, but he's following George Iliev, and David Roger now. It's just sitting very quietly on that last corner, giving himself some time as we're waiting now. So here we go. The sectors are through. Rubens does go for the fast sector. This is a fast sector, 18.4. It's very impressive. But Baptista van der Beek does get there quicker with an 18.3. So Baptista, of the first 5 drivers, is the fastest through the first sector. Barry T with an impressive first sector as well. As they all drivers now have started their laps. All drivers as they're now coming through. So we're going to get a clean run. No real groups. Maybe Rubens is very close on the back of Nye there, but they might be working together. We're not too sure yet what the deal is there. But we're seeing Soren now with the fastest first sector. Soren, Baptista does take the fastest second sector, but we're waiting for Soren. Soren is the driver we're really looking for here. But here we go. We're looking at the front now. Nye will lead us across the line, followed by Rubens. Who will be the faster of the two? As Nye comes across the line with a 1:07. And Rubens, will he top that? No, he will not. Now we're waiting for Baptista van der Beek. Van der Beek now across the line. Does he go quicker? Yes, he does. Yes, Baptista van der Beek does go quicker. Just by a little bit though. We're just waiting. We're having a little bit of very slow delivery on our end for these lap times. As we see Rubens stay second here. Barry T drops to third As Soren now goes to pole, he takes the fastest sector in every sector. Fantastic to see from him, as we're now just waiting for a couple more drivers here. George Ilyev crosses the line, and George Ilyev stays 8th. No, George Ilyev goes 3rd. Fantastic. Great to see from George. And we're Adam Sherpit now across the line. Only 4th from Adam Sherpit. Only 4th position. You'd say that, but that's on the line for maybe a B final, Adam. So, what will you think about that? So that's it. That's qualifying over for this session. And now here is the grid. We've got Soren on pole. Fantastic from him. Baptista van der Breggen. No, sorry. So I'm getting wrong information here on my end. I believe Soren is the pole sitter. But Baptista, it does say he's 1st, but he is actually on the outside. He is starting 2nd. Adam Sherpit in 3rd. We've got George Ilyev. Fantastic again from George Ilyev. Great to see over there in 4th. Rubens on his debut. Rubens and Nye, they had a clean run in qualifying, but starting 5th and 6th. As the race now gets underway, we're going to find out who's going to get the better launch to the first part. The drive on the inside always gets the better start, but Baptista does go to the grass to stay ahead there ever so slightly. Soren now, they're going to make contact. No, they're side by side though, going into the next corner, and it gets all out of shape there slightly, as we see all sorts going on here. Soren though looks like he's going to inherit the lead from that. I'm trying to make sense of what's happening behind, because they're all battling. And goes to the grass, Adam Sherpit, to stay ahead there. To the grass, that was a very choice move, I would say. As Nye looks like he has moved up the order there so slightly. Soren now, though, with a clean lead up in front. Baptista van der Breggen, will he just start to close on Soren, or will he settle for that 2nd place? It is a front row start almost for him. As we're now seeing Adam Sherpit slightly defend for 3rd, he goes slightly inwards. Will he stay out here? As David Rogers in 4th position. We're seeing slight sense there, but it looks all okay. Adam Sherpit actually goes to the grass there. As we're seeing them 3 wide behind. At the moment, we're not sure who's going to come out on top of that. As now David Roger does survive that race start and move forward. And now looking down the order as they cross the line, Soren is the leader from Baptista van der Breggen. Adam Sherpit 3rd, David Roger 4th. George Ilyev does survive and starts 5th. Rubens is in 6th, he has dropped 1 position. Nye has dropped down to 7th, but not too bad. Thea Rafter, though, at the moment, struggling down there in 8th position. Followed by Hugo de Val and Barry T, the A finalist at his debut round, sitting now at the bottom of the stack. That's going to be very frustrating for himself. And we're only got 3 minutes to go in this race, so that's how fast these sprint races are coming along. But the most important thing is the points you get from them. Soren, if he does win this, he gets 3 extra points towards his championship, and those points can be really important when we're looking at, if he is going to win the sprint race, win the A final, and take the fastest lap. This is how he's going to do it, and he starts with the sprint race. As we see the field, they have slightly calmed down now. Hugo de Val looks like he has fallen into an issue though, as Barry T actually has moved ahead now of Theo Rafter. So not sure what's happened there at the moment, but we're seeing a fight back now from David Rogers. He's fighting Adam Sherpit, and Adam Sherpit does defend. So will he get down the inside here? David Roger, he does, and they're going to go side by side. Is he going to commit to it? Yes, he does, and David Roger, and no, Adam Sherpit might come back at this, and he doesn't, and now he's under pressure from George Ilyev. And is he going to defend George Ilyev? Yes, he is, but George Ilyev still going to go for it, and looks okay from my side at least. Adam Sherpit though, I mean, all these, unlike real championship karting, our cards are identical, but it looks like at the moment Adam Sherpit is not driving fast enough for that car. So we're seeing lots of just sort of loading contact, just pushing the driver forward, just saying, hey, I don't want to fight too much, but that's what's happening. As George Ilyev now goes maybe slightly off, does hit Adam Sherpit, but Adam Sherpit's going to have the inside here, he's going to hold it. As he does, it makes a bit of side contact there. Nothing out of the ordinary. George Ilyev has recovered from it, but he is under pressure now. These are A final spots that they're fighting for, and it's interesting to see them fight for those. Looks like George Ilyev has dropped off slightly though. I would say the move from Adam Sherpit was good. I saw lots of side contact, but he was already there. At least I would say. As we move in now to the next phase of the race, Theo Rafter unfortunately looks like he has fallen into issues. And Theo Rafter, he hasn't practiced a lot for this round, and maybe it's the practice has let him down here ever so slightly. But he has got a B final as well, where he could make up a load of positions. We saw a decent move there from Nye, moving up position on Rubens. The two drivers who were working together in qualifying, maybe they're not working together in the race at the moment because this is the cusp. Sixth position, that is the cusp of the A final. So I would say at the moment it's looking good for Adam Sherbet in fifth. As we see another send there from Rubens. They're overtaking each other at the moment. And is Nye going to come back on it? Yes, he does. And he goes to the inside. So Rubens overshoots the corner. And a little bit of load in there. But he's good to stay on the outside. And yes, they're still fighting down the back straight. He's got to go thin to the next corner. This is an important corner. It's a big straight after this. And we're seeing, once again, just that loading contact, just pushing the driver forward. I would say it's friendly contact. I wouldn't say it's good contact. It's friendly at the moment. As we're now seeing Nye down the back straight, defending to the corner. And through, and he's still defending. They're defending at the moment. And this is the last lap now, by the looks. As we see Soren. Yes, Soren is on the last lap. So whatever happens here, this could be for an A final spot between Nye and Rubens. If not, they're going to have to fight to the B final. He goes to the inside. He doesn't quite get it. No, Nye does stay ahead. He's lost a lot of momentum there. I was like, Nye's going to secure sixth. As Rubens looks like he might have to fight this through the B final. We're not sure yet. We'll have to check once the final standings come in. But Soren, what can I say? On a day where he needs to win the sprint race, he needs to win the A final. And to be honest with you, he needs to take the fast lap, which he has at the moment with a 1 minute 5.6 compared to Pierre Ligio's 1:60. So he will start first for the A final. On a day where he needs to win it all, he does win it all at the moment, at least. So Soren, fastest lap and the win and the pole. Fantastic so far from him as he takes the win. Baptiste van der Breggen coming in second. David Roger third. George Ilya, fantastic from George. Great to see in fifth. Adam Sherbet, looked like he struggled, but he was a bit out of practice in fifth position. A great performance there from Nye. And Barry T moving from last up to seventh. That's great to see. Theo Rafter struggling ever so slightly. Now Rubens did drop to eighth. Didn't see what happened there. And then finally Hugo Deval, who looks like he also fell into his shoes in 10th. So that's your two sprint races. Now we are going to go away and we're going to get the grids ready for the B and A finals. So stick with us. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, ready for the finals. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's the B final. No, the B final's mainly qualifying for the A final. So there are stakes at hand. The top two drivers from this will move to the A final, and it's a bigger A final. It's quite a small race here, but in that A final, we will have, quite a much bigger grid, especially with the two drivers tagging on. But it's a 20-minute race here for this B final, and they get two Joker laps. Now, that's important because that's where the tactical element comes in. A lot of drivers will go early and go late. So we're going to find out who can get into that A final as we see the last driver join the session now. There's only 30 seconds to go before the start of this B final, and we're gonna, it's gonna be very interesting. Mate Sheplo, the pole sitter, very unlucky first race, I would say, but he now has the chance to make it to A final and start scoring points once again, especially against Harry Power in the championship for the silver title. At the moment, we're seeing Oren on the front row as well. Oren will be also keen. He got very unlucky losing out to Andres Lanzardis late into that sprint race. But here we go. It's 6 red lights for ACK as we're now waiting for the start of this race. Hopefully nobody jump starts. That's what we're afraid of. The lights are going to go out and we're now going to start the race. Who will get the better launch? Who had the better reaction time? It looks like at the moment it is Mate Sheplo, and he does push the driver wide there, just announcing his position. I will lead this race. Now, it'll be important for him. He needs to make a choice here. Does he attack Mate Sheplo? But he's actually getting attacked now already, as we see Nye go down the inside, and will there be contact? As Mate Sheplo overshoots the corner, and there's lots of contact, but it's because Mate Sheplo made the initial mistake. Ruben onto the grass there, as we fall off, as we see Zach Minisham has spun out at the first corner. And now we're seeing all sorts of drives. And there's big loading there from Sheplo. Sheplo's being loaded and he's dropped back and there's people spinning around as well. It's a crazy start into the B final. And who looks like they come out on top there? I'm not sure. There's more contact. Who will come out on top? This is where the tactical element's going to come in. Will drivers immediately decide to pit? As we see him gets on the curb a little bit nigh on the outside. He's going to get washed out. As it looks like Sheplo's decided, or no, survived into that corner. As now we're seeing a clear lead there from Barry T. Barry T stayed away from it, and he's out ahead. As Sheplo now to the inside, he hits the curb ever so slightly. There's lots of contact here. What a start to a race, I would say. Which, a very chaotic start, but these drivers know what's at stake. They know. As Theo Rafter now in third place, will Theo decide to pit? That's the important thing here. And if drivers go on the grass in the pits, nobody pits. They're all going to go fighting. And most important part by the Joker here is they can't use the grass. And there's a bit of outside contact there from Oren. Frustrating, I can see, as he's getting defended into the corner. As there's contact there from Theo Rafter on Sheplo. Theo Rafter does look like he gets down the inside okay there. But this is where Sheplo's going to be fighting back for sure. As Theo just defends the next corner. Barry T, he's bought a ticket here to the A final at the moment. He's got a clear lead out there. As we're seeing all sorts of fighting for one more spot in the A final. But it looks like at the moment Theo Rafter's the driver who has got the advantage as Sheplo now goes with him. This is where the tactical element is going to come into the race, I'm sure. It's going to be a case, surely they got to break away here. I wouldn't be sitting around for a long time at the moment. As Barry T now comes around the final set of corners, and there's only 17 minutes to go in this race. Laps are so long that it feels like such a long lap. It makes the race feel so short in a way because it's just so little laps. Because we're only on lap 3. It's Mate Sheplo there. No, Theo Rafter's overshot by a mile. It looks like Sheplo now will go ahead. And there's no pit stops. No pit stops on that lap either. They're going to continue fighting for another lap here. And we can see that Zach Minisham has spun out at the last corner once again. Hugo Duval at the moment coming around. He looks like he's had an issue there himself. Coming around. There's Barry T. We're seeing all sorts of fighting. So we see Zach Minisham is in the pits. And he does. Looks like he's clean there. Uses the outside. Coming around. Will he touch the grass on the exit? That's the big question. As he does overshoot. And that is going to be a penalty there from Minisham. Didn't watch the briefing. And will take a penalty for overshooting the grass. As we're seeing all sorts of fighting still. None of these drivers are pitting, which is the interesting thing. Do they realise they can pit? That's the big question here. As we're seeing all sorts of fighting now down the back straight. Barry T, though, is actually losing ground to Mate Sheplo. Mate Sheplo is starting to catch up. As we're seeing all sorts of fighting. But will anybody decide to pit? That's the big question. As they come around the final corner. Will we see any pit stops? We do see one. Who is that? As they come round, it looks clean so far. That looks to me like Nye. Yeah, that is Nye. As we see a spin there, who's that? That looks like Oren to me. As we see Nine now come around the final corner, he does keep it within the lines. Fantastic to see. Good. That's a good example of a pit stop. As now, this is where we're going to start to see a tactical game. Now, Nye has actually come up behind Rubens there, which could provide an issue. And to be fair, look, just looking at the front, Hugo Deval is getting out the way of the two leaders. That is fantastic to see. Thank you, Hugo, for being a great sport. As Theo now is has just maybe come across there, Hugo Deval, but Hugo Deval nowhere to go. We're seeing a stop now from Zach Minisham once again. He comes out. Will he do it clean this time? That's the question. Or will he overshoot the corner? And he does hit the outside again. We said in the briefing, you can't touch that part of the track, and he's done it twice. So there's going to be 2 penalties for Zach right there. Unfortunate, but you know, if you don't watch the briefing, or if you don't practice enough pit stops, then there's those issues you're going to run into. Barry T though leading this race, and Theo Rafter's in now. Theo Rafter is in the pit lane. He's taking the opportunity as we follow on board with Theo. And he hits the barrier on the entry to the pit lane. Oh, now that is unfortunate. And that could have cost him. As we see another driver go in there. That looks like Oren and Hugo Deval also in as well. Lots of pit stops going on at the moment. And they're fighting on the exit. Looks like they all got out okay. There's a driver there just behind. Looks like Theo Rafter. Theo Rafter was on the concrete. So Theo looks like he's going to take a penalty for that as well. Unfortunately, you know, it's... that corner is a hard corner, and people are going to get penalties. So, you know, you got to feel for Theo. He's had a really unfortunate day, I would say. You know, he didn't practice this round, and on rounds he has practiced, he's done really well. And you know, coming 6th at Vandal Go-Kart was a fantastic achievement from him. But at the moment, you know, it hasn't been his day, and that just capitalised on it even more, I think. But let's reset here. Let's go back to the front. We've got Barry T leading the way from Mate Sheplo. Mate Sheplo is closing in at the moment on Barry T, but you'd have to ask, you know, these 2 drivers, is it worth fighting? Because at the moment, you know, these 2 could be the drivers going to the A final. As now we're seeing a bit of a rush in midfield at the moment. You know, Theo has come out in the middle of a lot of karts, and he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make that A final. Oren, we believe, has done 2 stops. Now, Oren was on the concrete there, but you can do that on the lap. It hasn't been specified that is a track limit. It's only on the pit exit is where you're not allowed to do those sort of moves. But we're seeing now Martin Sheplo. He's closing in on Barry T at what looks to be about... it was about half a second on last lap. And at the moment, he's pulling good sectors together. Looks like he's pulling about another half a second on Barry T. Now, this is where the big question comes in. Does Barry T fight this? Because if they fight, they could be finding themselves in a fight again with Theo Rafter. As we come round now to start the 6th lap of this race, we're no longer than a sprint race. Barry T just slightly narrower line there than Marty Sheplo. You know, a fantastic A final from these 2 last time out, but now fighting in the B final. It goes to show how different things can be across all these different rounds. And the other driver to look out for, of course, is Nye at the moment, who he had a decent stop, but he's only 1 stop behind at the moment. I was talking to Harry Power earlier in the day, and he said to me that an average stop loses you around about 7 to 12 seconds. And looking at my telemetry, it's quite hard to gauge how far it is. But what I can tell you is on the last lap, Barry T was behind by quite a distance compared to Marty Sheplo. As we're seeing a back marker just get in the way there a little bit. We're just watching, hopefully those drivers get in the way okay, and there's no contact. And it does look like Zach has gotten out of the way. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All good. Yeah, I was worried, not seeing that on my camera. But yeah, Zach Minisham will let the drivers through. Thank you, Zach, for your work there. As now the drivers now are going to start their 7th lap. And Zach does seem to be fighting Marty Sheplo. That's frustrating to see. Zach has taken more than 1 stop here. So that will be investigated after the race, I'm sure. But this is Marty Sheplo's stop. And now we're going to see the first time 2 drivers fight for the A final. And no, Nye's actually quite far way behind there. You can see him just in the back of the picture there. So he's got a couple of seconds on it at the moment, which is frustrating to see, you know, I'm sure from Nye, but he can now fight with Marty Sheplo. Barry T, however, though, is out in the lead, and he had a small lead before this as well. So Now from Barry T, his objective is just to keep going. Surely at the moment it's not worth stopping. If he does 2 stops and he finds out he's in the mix with Mate Sheplo and Nye, then it could be a very painful last 10 minutes for him. So we're just following now, so we can see Mate Sheplo is under pressure from Nye, and will this trigger Nye to pit again, possibly? But if he does pit again and Mate Sheplo decides to pit, they're going to be fighting for, well, just over 10 minutes of racing at the moment. So that's something they got to consider. Mate Sheplo, these 2 drivers, Barry T might be other way, but Barry T does actually pit. The leader is in, so he's going to come out just ahead of Mate Sheplo and Nye, but he's going to join the fight here. The stop looks good. It was a good stop. Where's Mate Sheplo and Nye? We can't see them at the moment. Yes, it's because Mate Sheplo did pit. Mate Sheplo did pit again, so he's done both of his stops now. So these are the 2 stops that Mate Sheplo has got to get on with it. He's got to move on with this race. As we see now, who is this coming to the pit lane? It looks like on my screen, just trying to work it out. Theo Rafter taking his second stop, which is he did do that crash in the pit lane. So we're going to have to see where he comes out. He's going to have a big effort on track now, as we see Mate Sheplo still putting in fastest sectors at the moment, but he's coming down the back marker. Hopefully the back marker moves out the way. That's something that we're just watching at the moment. Mate Sheplo just going on the inside there, and he does get through safely on the back marker. But as now we come round the corner. Sorry, just checking on my screens here. This is the phase of the race where we don't want to call a winner because we don't know who's winning the race, but at any moment, one of these drivers could pit, and that's where it changes. And we are going to see one, and that looks to me like Zach Minisham coming in again for yet another stop. Now, taking this many stops is not a great thing in a race, and I think it will be investigated after the race. There's certainly no rule against taking these many pit stops, but it will be investigated to see if there is a rule. But that's at least an update from a driver who's taken 5 stops so far. But we're now back with Rai, as he's now following Barry T Racing. So this is now the fight. This is the fight we can call. So we got Barry T. He has to stop one more time. Nye Racing has to stop one more time. But Mate Sheplo, the driver who actually hasn't got the fastest last sector, but he's got the fastest lap at the moment. He will be on all of it. He's finished all of his stops. So this is going to be important. It's going to be a 3-man race, one looks at, for that A final spot. So here we go. We're finding out what's going to happen. There's another pit stop there. This is now Nye's in for the pit stop. This is what I was looking out for. And he doesn't clip the barrier like Theo Rafter as we come round. Will it be a clean stop? That's the important thing. Gets it slowed down. Yes, I would say that's good enough. And he comes out. Where's Mate Sheplo? Sheplo has got the momentum, and Nye doesn't quite. Nye does keep it. In fact, he does keep it. And now Mate Sheplo's dropped to 3rd because of that. So they've all used their pit stops now. Now it all falls to Barry T, the last driver now to pit. Where will he come out compared to Nye and Mate Sheplo? Now you've got to ask, do these 2 drivers fight? Because at the moment they're catching Barry T. Each time they drive, Barry T hasn't even hit a 1:06 yet. Both of these drivers are in the 1:06s. Does Mate Sheplo just push Nye along and help him towards that A final? Or does Barry, if they fight, which it looks like at the moment they're going side by side, and they're going side by side again. Sheplo down the inside. This is only benefiting the driver who hasn't pitted, and that's Barry T. If I was Barry T, I would be staying out at the moment because, it doesn't really make sense to pit. But he does pit, so we're going to see 7 minutes now of racing for an A final spot. Barry T through the pit lane. Now, is he going to get a clean stop here? I'm not sure. It does look good, but he does get slowed down there slightly bogged down, but he has come out into the lead, and this now is a 3-man race, apologies, for the A final. Only 2 spots, 3 can't go into 2, as we just now fall on board with Oren, who is in 4th. Now unfortunately, this is a fight not for the lead at the moment, as these 3 drivers, they will be fighting for points, however, in the championship, as Theo Rafter now just making his way through the back after his unfortunate pit stop, and he's going to go down the inside there. Great move, but he overshoots the corner, and he has to give it back once again. Unfortunate, but Rubens does hold the position ahead. As just looking back towards the lead right now, Barry T is still holding on to the lead, but ever so slightly falling back from 9. Marty Shepard has actually fallen back quite a lot, I would say, at the moment. As we're now going down that straight, Barry T is defending. Now we can see that such a big straight, but he's going to get the switchback. 9. Finally, someone gets past Barry T after 13 minutes of racing. Barry T, a fantastic start, but now he's been compromised, and now 9 is into the lead of this race and looking to get into that A final. Marty Shepard has massively fallen off in recent time. Now, this is Barry T's chance. Does he go for the position again? Does he go and try and secure the win of the final? It doesn't mean anything in terms of the championship, as now Nye starts defending. These drivers are not working together. Nobody wants to work together here, which must be, you know, great for drivers like Martin Sheplo and even maybe some drivers behind if they get caught up too much. But at the moment, you know, they're fighting, and they're both in the A final. If they just relax a little bit, but they're not. They want to win this race, and Barry T now goes down the inside, and he does commit to it. Will he overshoot the corner? That's what we see very commonly here. He does, but he holds position. He's going to have the inside here, as Martin Sheplo, you can see him in the back, and he's catching up. He must be looking at this and thinking, why are you fighting? You're both in the A final. You're both fighting for the same thing. Marte Sheplo, though, he's on the back of these two drivers. They're side by side to the last corner, a corner where you need momentum, and Barry T gets on the curb there so slightly, and he drops to third. He is now out of the A final because of fighting. Marte Sheplo up to second. Now, we've seen Marte Sheplo. He's actually won 2 B finals this year, and he was leading another B final at Daytona in round 1, but unfortunately ran into some issues and crashed out of that B final. But Marte Sheplo here, you know, he wants to make that A final. All the drivers want to make the A final, but only 2 are going to be there. And at the moment, you can't call who's going to be there. There's 4 minutes left in this race, and we're going to get about 3 laps to go here. Nye is just about holding on, but will he defend on the back straight? He gets on the curb there slightly. Marty's going to get better momentum, and he does look to the inside, and he does commit to it. Yes, he does. He commits to Marte Sheplo. Will they go side by side? Yes, they do, but he gives space. Barry T now maybe thinking about the move. Goes inside, but he doesn't go for the move. He defends the corner, and he's going to get good momentum out as Nye seems to have been compromised. And he's going to go down the inside, and this is Barry T's chance. Barry T, will he go into second? Yes, he will. It's another fight here. We don't know who's going to win this race at the moment. It's just going all over the place. As we see now, down the back straight, they're 2 by 2, and Martin Sheplo holds on to the lead. I don't know who to commentate on this. This is for the B final. You'd have thought this is for the championship. As they go down now side by side into turn 1, Nye now takes the lead. Barry T takes the lead, but now they're side by side, and it's back. I can't even call who's winning. Nye looks like he's leading now. Barry T into second, and he spins out Barry T on his own by the looks. And that, what a fight! What a fight that sprawled so many corners. But Marty Sheplo comes out on top of that in the lead, and Nye in second place. And Barry T, you've got to feel for him. What a fantastic race, but it looks like, I didn't see any contact, it looks like he's just pinched the brakes a bit too hard and spun around. That is so unfortunate, and you have to feel for him. So unfortunate. But listen, what a great battle. And Barry T now is in the wall, in fact, at turn, well, I'm not sure what turn that is. Rubens actually goes into third. Theo Rafter's now going to go into fourth as Barry T, it's so unfortunate. He hasn't lost a lot of points in the long run. But listen, what a fight from those 3 drivers. But at the moment, what I can say is Marte Sheplo is in a comfortable lead in this B final. And at the moment, yes, Nye is in a comfortable second place. That was a great fight, but it looks to have come to its end now. With only 2.5 minutes remaining, we're not going to see much more fighting just looking at the map at the moment. As you know, we start to look towards the A final now. Marty Sheplo will join the A final alongside Nye, and it's going to be a big grid final. Lots of drivers in that one, lots of exciting drivers as well. It's going to be lots of exciting battles. If this was the B final, well, that is going to be something else, I will say. As we're coming around now, looks like we're going to get maybe 1 more lap, maybe 2 more laps. We're not too sure at the moment. We'll know when they cross the line. If they cross the line and there's less than a lap's worth to go, then it will go to the final, go to another lap. And it looks like we are going to get 2 laps here of action. There's 1 minute 35 on the clock. And yes, Sheplo will cross the line and start a... Yes, we're going to have 2 laps, essentially, going through it. So comfortable lead from Marty Sheplo. Actually does improve over Nye by slightly, only by 3,000th. He slightly improves. Ruben's in a fourth, and he in the third position, and he had a quite unfortunate start to the race. I'd say Ruben's. He did try and go for the lead, overshot it, and thereafter, hitting that barrier, we can see the gap he lost. He lost about 4 corners, and I would say roughly about 15 seconds to the leaders. So you have to question, where would thereafter have finished if he didn't hit that barrier on the pit entry? It's unfortunate to see him. Maybe would have had an even bigger fight for that A final in this race. As we see now, Sheplo and Nye coming around. Nye has closed in slightly on this lap, I would say. He's up on the delta as they come round. Sheplo will be now. It doesn't really matter if you're on the inside or the outside. If you're starting last on the grid for that A final, so they're not going to be too worried about that. And there's no extra points for winning the B final. We're seeing pit stops from Minisham once again. Not a good idea, I would say, because it's going to be investigated after the race. If there's more than what 2 pit stops allowed in the rulebook, that will have to be discovered. But this is the last lap now, as these 2 drivers come around for their last lap. Ruben's in third, thereafter in fourth position. We've got Barry T. You have to feel for Barry T. But what I will say about Barry T is he has driven a great race, but he was never within half a second of these 2. Even when he was in a clear lead, he was just dropping 3/10, 4/10 per lap, and it just ate away into his progress in the race. So it's unfortunate for Barry, but listen, he was in the A final last time out, so he will be there again, I am sure. But we're gonna now see Marty Sheplo. We saw drive on the grass there. I didn't quite catch that. Looks like Zach Minisham coming around now. Marty Sheplo. It won't mean a lot, but it means more just to get into the A final and fight for extra points in the championship. Especially when he has to fight Harry Power for that silver championship. He needs to be in the A final. If there was any driver there, it needs to be him. So here comes Sheplo winning the B final, followed by Nye Killer in a fantastic second place on his ACK debut. He's going to be in that A final. Rubens will come round to finish third. Unlucky for Rubens, but a great debut nonetheless. Thereafter, you have to feel for him. Maybe next time with a bit more practice. He told me he didn't practice. Next time, a bit more practice, he'll be there. Barry T, thoughts going out to Barry T there. He should have been fighting for that A final right to the end, but unfortunate. And Oren in 6th. So, what a B final! I gotta say, so much action, and we've got a whole race to go. A slightly longer race of 25 minutes, and it's going to be epic. And I think there's going to be a lot of good moments in there. So stick with us. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, ready for that fantastic A final. Hello, everybody, and welcome to it's the A final for ACK round 8, and we've already seen two fantastic sprint races and a fantastic that B final was brilliant, but we've got an A final to go. Now this is going to be something. I can already tell. The race start is going to be epic, the midfield's going to be epic, and the ending I'm sure is going to be explosive as well, as we see fights up and down the field. We've got drivers at the back who, you wouldn't even consider them being at the back. They're going to be fighting their way forward. It's a big track here, and there's going to be lots of strategy involved. So, looking towards the championship, Soren is the only driver in the top 4 who has attended today's race. This is why we have 2 drop runs in the championship, because, these drivers, unfortunately, are busy, but Soren is going to benefit from this. If Soren takes the win and the fastest lap, he could maximize his score and close in on championship leader Jim Parisas. With only a minute to go, let's go through the grid though. Soren winning that sprint race and taking the fastest lap. He will start pole for this A final and have the better start. Pierre Ligio, the original creator of this mod, in 2nd position. And whilst we've got a minute, we might as well say, if you want to get involved with ACK, if you like what you're watching, please get involved with the championship. You can sign up through the Discord. All the information is in the description of this YouTube video. So, get involved with the championship. The racing has been fantastic so far, and we're only looking to expand as we move towards season 3. And Pierre Ligio, who is on the front row, he's done a great job with this car, and he's going to continue to update it as we look towards future seasons of ACK. Baptista van der Breggen, the controller driver, he's very proud of it. He's a controller-based driver, starting in 3rd place with Harry Power. Now, Harry Power starting in 4th. That's going to be important for his race. David Roger in 5th. We got Jaco in 6th, Jaco finishing 3rd in his sprint race. George Iliev in 7th, with Andres Lonzardis in 8th. Adam Sherpitt 9th. And then the 2 B finalists, Mate Sheplo and Nye, coming through. And with 6 red lights, we're ready for the start of this final race of the day. The race has started, no false starts, which is great to see. But who will come out on top as the start? A driver in the pit lane, which is interesting. Now, that will be investigated, because that was before the timing line. That will be investigated. Who was that? That was David Roger now in the pit lane. It's just pushed me off at the start of this race. But we're seeing at the moment lots of contact through the midfield. That will get investigated. Baptiste is up to 2nd there, I can see. Soren looks like he's kept the lead. There's Pierre Ligio that's fallen back. You see a massive dive down the inside there. Lots of contact. And Pierre Ligio is falling back there. He's falling back, Pierre Ligio. Another contender to the championship. He's 5th in the championship at the moment, but he's dropped all the way back from 2nd, and more contact. This must be very frustrating for him at the moment as he's dropped back, and it looks like Soren is the driver who has benefited, and he's got a nice little gap there to Baptista van der Breggen as Harry Power into 3rd position now. Harry Power must have his nose bleeding, because he is very high up for his standards at the moment, but he will be doing a good job there as we see lots of contact in the field. Nice actually made his way up to 6th. But he does lose position there to Pierre Ligio. Pierre Ligio comes through to 5th. Now, where will these drivers come through? Soren with a clear lead coming across the line. Baptiste van der Breggen, more contact on the outside. And Pierre Ligio into the wall. Lots of spinning there, but he does recover it. Adam Sherpitt's dropped back. Will he decide to pit? Who will decide to pit on this lap? We're seeing lots. And will anybody go through? No, it doesn't look like anybody pitted, which is an interesting strategy. Now, whilst we wait for that, talking back to David Roger, now, this was a strategy at a previous round where drivers actually pitted before they came round to finish that first sequence of the lap. But the difference there was they crossed the timing line to get there. Now, David Roger did not cross a timing line to get to that race start, so actually might have just compromised himself there with a penalty. But that will be investigated more after the race, I'm sure. Soren, though, with a clear lead at the moment, and he's driving well, took the fastest lap on that first lap, but he had the cleanest run out of all of them. And the drivers in the midfield, though, David Roger was in the pit lane again. Adam Sherpitt pitted on that lap, and he's fallen behind David Roger. As we see Soren now come round to finish his 2nd lap. He has a clear lead at the moment, and sure, will he take the fastest lap? He does with a 1:06 flat. And Baptista can't match it. He's 3/10 down. George Iliev, though, up to 3rd. What a fantastic race start from George Iliev. Was complaining why he's starting 8th, and now he's at the 3rd. So, coming round through these laps, we can see anybody pit. We don't see anybody pit on this lap. Adam Sherpitt, though, shortly thinking about it. And Adam Sherpitt decides not to as well. Moving with now David Roger. They're working together. We're seeing lots of contact down at the in corner as Marty Shepherd's made his way all the way up to 6th. The B finalist all the way up the order. Nye's up to 5th, and the B finalist Marty Shiplow up to 6th. What a fantastic race so far. As we're seeing lots of fights in this midfield, one driver you have to feel for though is Pierre Legion de Santa, on the front row, and now he's down in 8th at the moment. He hasn't made a stop either, as Soren has a clear lead here. Now, will Soren be able to keep that lead? That's the big question. As they're coming around, Marty Shiplow down the inside, but he's going to be on the outside for the next corner. Are they going to go 3 wide? They don't, at least I understand at the moment. The switchback coming there from Pierre Legion makes 2 positions. Fantastic racing there from them both. And now they're going to go 3 wide into the last corner. Yes, they do, but Pierre Legion holds it. But he's going to get switched back there. He's going to be on the inside. Will any of these drivers decide to stop? And one does. Now it looks to me like Marty Shiplow, and can't find him. But that looked to me like Nye Killer at the moment. Yes, it was Nye. And would he get a good stop? Yes, it is. So the 2 B finalists now, maybe they're working together this time. We didn't see working together in that A final, on the B final, but will we see a change in the A final? We're now back on board with Pierre Legion de Santa, as he's now following Jaco, and this is the phase of the race. We've got to start to think, is it worth fighting? Or is it worth just getting on the back of the Jaco, just pushing his cart along, and making sure, we can secure a good position for ourselves? As we now go back to the front, let's follow from the front. So Soren with a clear lead and a clear fastest lap. He's 3/10 quicker than any other driver on track, but Baptiste is staying with him. Now the fantastic George Iliev in 3rd place. He's done wonders in those first 4 laps of the race, but can he hold it through the strategy? Harry Power in 4th position. Now Harry Power is in a good position to score good points compared to Martin Sheplow, who's down in 8th position. But he will need to maintain a good run, especially through the pit stops. As Martin Sheplow now does hold on to position there, but he loses again to Nye. No working together here. And will Martin come in? Yes, he does. This is Martin's 2nd stop now. And Martin does get on the grass there a little bit. That will have to be investigated from what I saw. But, for now, we'll check that later. As Martin comes around, and it's a clean end to the stop at least. And he comes out. Andres Lonzardis is the driver with him now. Now, Andres Lonzardis, the 9-year-old, he is the youngest ACK driver, at least by my records, and my notes say that. Now, will he work with Martin Sheplow, the 2 drivers at the back? But Martin, he knows what he needs to do. He needs to catch up to Harry Power, the likes of Harry Power, the silver tier drivers, as he fights for that silver tier championship. And we're now following Adam Sherpitt. Adam Sherpitt is a driver who, again, he's dropped down the order a little bit in the standings. He does make good overtake there on 9, but he's down the order a little bit in the standings. But when we get to the end of the season, he will have completed 8 out of the 10 rounds, so he will get a full score as he gets overtaken again there by 9. That's frustrating to see from Adam Sherpitt. Adam Sherpitt will be frustrated with that move going round, because they need to work together in this sort of phase. It's not worth fighting, but they do continue to fight. Will there be any stops here? Yes, there is. Nye goes in for a 2nd stop, so I believe he'll come out with Martin Sheplow here. It's going to be close. Martin Sheplow's just come across the line now, so they're going to be going into turn 1 together. Who will get the advantage? Lonzardis is also there with them. There's Sheplow, and he's on the inside now. Lonzardis has got the momentum. He does look to the inside, he doesn't quite get it. Doesn't quite get it there. So, this is a trio that have done all their stops, and all they can do now is just carry on driving, trying to drive and get as far towards as they can. Let's head back to the front. Soren is leading by now quite a clear gap, as George Iliev has closed in on Baptiste van der Becker now. A driver who, he's driving on a controller for one, so it must be harder. I haven't done my research to say if a controller or a wheel is harder, but you have to respect the effort for taking part with a controller, and to be honest with you, proving to other people. I've heard a lot of people complain, I can't drive with this controller to the standard of the wheel drivers. That's not true. I mean, you look at Baptiste van der Becker, his lap times, although they're not quite Soren, he's doing well. So it's an interesting topic to talk about, really. But now we're looking through the mid-phase. Nobody's stopping at the moment. We're in that phase now where there's a group of drivers that have done their stops and a group of drivers that are yet to stop. And the only thing that could trip up drivers like Soren now is a bad pit stop, and that's something he doesn't want to cover. So, when he goes to the pit stop, he can afford to be just a bit calmer with how he's driving. But will he take that, or will he take the risk? Will he be afraid of drivers behind? Maybe catching up. You do look at the driver likes of Adam Sherpitt, who at the moment is not putting in the laps that he needs. You look at Soren, a 1 minute 5.8 as his fastest lap, and last lap 1 minute 5.9. Nobody's matching that. In fact, he's the only driver on track in the 1 minute 5s. The closest driver to him on lap time is George Iliev with a 1 minute 6.1. So I think that tells you all you need to know at the moment about Soren. You know, with the other 3 championship contenders out of the way, he's relatively unmatched at the moment, which must be frustrating if you're Jan Leemans or Jim Paris is at home watching. But, you know, that's what happens when you're not here. He's got a clean bit of air there to go and possibly take the fight to Jim. So we're now starting, or we're on lap 7 at the moment, and looking down the order, it's hard to gauge where Mate Sheplo and Nye is going to come out, but it does look like at the moment it's going to be where Jaco is currently sitting in 5th position. It's going to be a fight from there, as once again Jaco is slightly slower than Mate Sheplo on the last couple of laps, so it looks like it's going to be a close fight outside that pit lane. But we're now back on board here with Nye, as they're just now closing in on Mate Shepard, but surely these 2 B finalists, who have driven fantastically, by the way, they have driven brilliantly today, moving their way towards the mid-phase of this race now. There's not a lot of fighting going on, I'd say, at the moment, as George Iliev has come into the pit lane. George Iliev is now in the pits. Will this be a good stop? He goes very wide for this. And will it benefit him? This is an interesting strategy we've seen. Will he get a good launch out? And a driver's come out in front of him. That looks like Harry Power to me. That's Harry Power. So Harry Power is overcut, or undercut, should I say, George Iliev in the pits, which is interesting to see. 2 silver drivers possibly fighting for the title here. Up in 3rd and 4th place, looking for a podium. Maybe both of them, their first ACK podiums of the championship and ever in the history books. So Harry Power does slightly defend now. He's going quite thin into these corners at the moment, with 13 minutes to go on the clock. He can't sustain this for 13 long minutes of racing, as George Iliev does look down the inside, and there's a little bit of side contact there, but not sure what to think about that, as now Harry Power does slip down. Now Harry Power now is down the inside once again, but George Iliev, will he get the switchback? No, he doesn't, as we now go through to start the 9th lap of this race. Soren carries on, and he has dropped time, Soren. He's actually slower than Baptiste at the moment. And as we just see the pit stop now, Soren is in the pits. Will this be a good stop? It does look good, and comes out behind Baptiste van der Breggen. Now, he's had 1 stop. This is George Iliev's 2nd stop now. George Iliev is due to come out into traffic here. Harry Power also in the pits. So they both completed their stops. Both going to hopefully be working together now towards the end of this race. But they've come out in traffic. Pierre-Legio de Sante just down the road, and Jaco, 2 drivers who have yet to stop. So interesting strategy, I would say, from those 2 drivers at the moment. You know, they didn't need to pit that early, and they've got a long 14 minutes of racing now to essentially sort it out. You know, Pierre-Legio doesn't have to stop for what I would say is another good 13 minutes at the moment. So, you know, looking at it, it's quite interesting. So, where are we now? This is now definitely an awkward mid-phase of the race, because we've got drivers on so many different strategies. I would say at the moment the advantage is Soren, followed by Baptista. Just looking at the order, I think George Iliev, you know, is the 3rd place man at the moment with Harry Power. But Adam Sherpa is a driver who has yet to do his last stop, I believe. As we see 2 drivers in front, Jaco and Pierre-Legio are in the pit lane now, so they're going to finish their laps and they're going to come out behind Harry Power. Adam Sherpa now, yes, he does take his last pit stop. So we're seeing so many drivers now take their last pit stops. David Roger now has moved up the field. So I'm just trying to work out who has yet to stop, and it looks like at the moment it's Jaco, Pierre-Legio, David Roger, the drivers who need to do their stops, and then we'll be in a position to tell you who is leading these races, as we see a bit of fighting on screen here, as Nice finally had enough of Mate Sheplo, the 2B finalists, and they're not working together like they should be. This is not the phase of the race they should be racing in, but Nice clearly decided, hey listen, I'm the faster driver. Looking at their previous lap times, you would agree, Nye with a 1 minute 6.3, and Mate Sheplo only a 1 minute 6.7, as Pierre-Legio was going slow. It looks like he's fallen into an issue there. We didn't see what happened to him, but he was going slow, so we'll have to investigate what happened to him there. But yeah, no, going back to that topic, Nye, you know, half a second quicker than Mate Sheplo on that last lap. You can understand why he fell out of patience with Mate in front. But we're seeing Harry Power now in pits. Harry Power and Jaco both in the pit lane. Harry Power now is going to come out behind David Roger and Jaco. And there's Adam Sherpit. So we've seen all sorts of fighting now in this midfield. Soren now with a clear lead, as Baptiste Van der Brecker has also done his pit stop. And there's a slow. Why is Pierre Ligeot slow? He's slow again. He's dropping down the order. These are points that he is sacrificing here. That must be... we need to find out what's happening to Pierre Ligeot. Could it be technical? Could it be technical issues? We don't know. And it's not... I'm not talking about the car. I'm talking about in real life with this wheel. I do know Pierre Ligeot. I think he's the only player as well. The only player to play in VR. Always worth a check on his YouTube channel because his stream's fantastic watching him driving in VR. It's an unbelievable experience. We see these two drivers, Sheplo, going down the inside of Nye. Now Sheplo's told Nye, hey listen, you know, I don't care, I'm half a second slow on that last lap. I want to be ahead. Maybe this is the point. Soren now in this last stop. And that's a clean stop. Soren is clean through. And Baptiste Van der Brecker is in the pits. Now George Iliev side by side with Baptiste. George Iliev goes into second. Wow. Now, we know George has done 2 pit stops, so George is up into second. A silver tier driver, the fantastic George Iliev into second. I sound surprised, but, you know, you talked to George Iliev and he was just happy to be in the A final. So, fantastic to see, and will Baptiste take that? As for Soren, he's done 2 stops now. He's ahead by about 2 corners, and he's currently lapping about 2/10 quicker than George Iliev. So, you'd say at this point, it's almost a done deal, but maybe not the fastest lap though. The fastest lap has gone to Soren with a 1:05.696. Now, I'll be honest with you, there's only one other driver in the 1 minute 5s, and that's George Iliev, and he did a 9:08. So that extra lap point might be going the way of Soren at the moment. You would have to say, but no. Let's recap here. Let's go from the top. So we got Soren, who is leading, and another fast lap on his last lap. George Iliev in second. Can he hold on to that for 10 minutes? Baptiste Van der Brecker in third position. We've got David Roger in fourth. Now, I believe David Roger has to stop one more time, but David Roger will also be investigated for taking a pit stop before the timing line. Yes, it's probably a rule that needs to be looked at, but Harry Power's in fifth. But we do believe Harry Power will jump up to fourth position at some point. We've got Jaco in fifth. Adam Sherpit now is starting to chase down drivers, but he's going to have to fight his way through the drivers now, as most drivers have done 2 stops. I believe all drivers have done 2 stops, in fact, and just Lanzardis has just come out. It looks like he's had an issue, as Andreas has fallen back quite a lot on that last lap, unfortunately for him, but he will be glad to be driving at least. As now, in fact, I'm just trying to study it now, and I believe that all drivers, bar David Roger, have done their pit stops. So that leads to the fact now they've not really working together. They've got 9 minutes of racing here, and it's going to be some fantastic racing. As Nye and Martin Sheplo are still fighting. They've been fighting since the B final with 10 minutes to go, and they're still fighting now. It must be so frustrating to sit around the same drivers all day. But it looks like Nye's being patient. You know, he's being fair with Martin Sheplo. He's giving him time to just go ahead, you know, get down the road, see if it happens. But honestly, at this point, you know, these 2 drivers, they're fighting for position, and it's only 1 point in the long run. But, you know, fighting for any point is important, especially in karting. But we're seeing now a clean lead here from Soren up in front, as now we join Adam Sherpit. He goes down the inside there of Jaco. Jaco's going to be on the outside. Is he going to fight back? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going with Adam Sherpit. No, he sticks his nose out. No, he falls behind Adam Sherpit. There we go. So, maybe he's saying, hey, listen, Adam, I know you're a top 5 in the championship, or top 6, should I say, in the championship. Maybe we can go up the road and catch Harry Power, because this is now full position as we come through. And Adam Sherpit has been putting some good sectors in. On that last lap, he was actually 8/10 faster than Jaco. So, that tells you all you need to know at the moment about Adam Sherpit fighting through the field. An unfortunate sprint race as leading to him fighting his way back through this A final, but he's now up to 6th and chasing down 5th position, and maybe even a 4th position when it comes to David Rogers, should I say, his penalty, which is going to be coming. As we see Nye go to the inside there of Mate Sheplo, coming around there side by side. Sheplo does get on the curb a little bit. That's going to allow Nye through. So, was a bit more contact there. Where's Sheplo? Sheplo's in the wall. Oh, this awkward contact there made, but Sheplo, I don't know what to say about that one. I need to watch it back. It looks like just an awkward bit of contact. Just watch the back now. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about that, to be honest with you. I don't really understand how he spun around. Shall I say? Just watching it back is very hard to call. Very unlucky there from Sheplo, I will say, but he's only lost one position. There was a lot of fighting going on between them, so maybe it's a blessing that they're both now away from each other for the first time in what I can assume is about 30 minutes of karting. It's nothing worse than sitting around the same drivers for 30 straight minutes on track. But the interesting fight now is Adam Sherpe, who is catching Harry Power. They're both about to cross the line. Harry Power on that last lap with a 1:06.8. Adam Sherpe with 1:06.1. So he's caught by 5 tenths, and now he's on the back of Harry Power. This is where Adam Sherpe, the fantastic Adam Sherpe, the winner of the Metcar Indoor 3-hour endurance in real life just a week ago, which, by the way, very impressive result from him, I would say, in person. But now he's chasing down Harry Power in ACK, and he takes a better corner. A bit of contact there, I would say, from Adam. Very, very naughty. But is he gonna keep? Yes, he's gonna stay behind Harry Power for this part, for this section. 6 minutes on the clock, so he's got plenty of time to work with Harry Power here. You know, Adam Sherpe, the gold tier driver, facing against Harry Power, who, you know, by the way, I know Adam Sherpe does go down the inside. We say he wasn't going to wait around. And Harry Power does get the switch back here, and he does stay to the inside. Harry Power now going down to the middle of the track. Adam Sherpe, will he get a better exit? He does get a better exit. He does a bit of friendly loading, just pushing Harry Power forward. It does go to the inside, though, with the momentum he has. And he's going to take the lead this battle, I would say, at least. But now, will Harry Power decide to fight back, or will he work with him? The Harry Power needs to start looking behind him, I would say, at the moment, because the fight's not done. If Adam Sherpe starts fighting with him a lot, Harry Power is going to be in some issues. Harry Power does go to the racing line here, which may show to Adam maybe it's worth working together. He's got to start thinking about Mate Sheplo, who, you know, just down the road. Harry Power does go down the inside. He does go down the inside. I'll be interested to see. And Adam Sherpe loses a lot of momentum there. I'm not sure what from. But yes, he's lost a lot of momentum. That's unfortunate, but be interested to see. So, yeah, it's going down now. Harry Power now with a bit of breathing room, I would say, over Adam Sherpe. But Adam Sherpe is going to be coming back once again, I'm sure, very soon. But what I would say is these two drivers are in the top 5. Great points scored once again. So, let's all go back to the lead for a little bit. Soren, clear leader with a 1:05.9. And George Iliev now looks like he's just slightly edging out further over Baptiste van der Breggen. Better on that last lap once again than Baptiste. Maybe they're settling for a 3rd position. With just under 5 minutes to go now. A sprint race worth of time to go in this race. And not many fights to be left, I would say. You know, behind that, this is the only fight we're looking at. Harry Power versus Adam Sherpe for essentially an extra point. Now, what does this mean to Harry Power? You know, he's in a championship fight with Mate Sheplo for that silver title. A point to him might mean a lot more than a point to Adam Sherpe, but what can I say? These drivers will want every single point they can get, especially with the sprint races. So important to them. As now Adam Sherpe is closing in on Harry Power. There's only 3 minutes left. Looks like we're doing about 3 or 4 laps. Will Adam Sherpe go for here? He's got good momentum, and he does open it up for the inside. Will he make the same mistakes as before? Harry Power is going to get momentum on the outside. Adam Sherpe does hold it better this time. He does hold it better, and he's going to get a good entrance to the corner. Harry Power does lose it slightly. He's going to get good momentum here, though. Adam Sherpe decides to half defend. He's half defending the corner, so that's going to lead to Harry Power getting good momentum at the corner. Harry Power needs to start thinking about what's behind him again, I'm sure. As now he pushes him forward, he loads him forward. Very smart, I would say, for now at least from Harry Power. He's got plenty of time to come back into this at the moment. As he looks to the inside, it's good. A lot of contact there, a lot of contact on Adam, I would say, and he gives it back. Wow, fantastic sportsmanship there from Harry. That was, yes, well, great. Listen, we always want to see good sportsmanship here at ACK, and that is exemplary from Harry Power. Fantastic to see. It's not about the overall position, it's about showing respect. So fantastic from Harry Power there. All respect to him. But let's reassess this. He's now got to get past Jaco. Jaco has benefited from that fight, which he's done it before, Harry Power, so can he do it again? But Adam Sherpe now looks like he's got a nice clear run up to 4th position with David Rogers per penalty, I would say at the moment. As we're now following through with 2 minutes to go. Looking at the other fights, there's not a lot going on. Oh, Harry Power has gone ahead of Jacob though. I just missed that on my screen. Just watching it back, and yeah, oh yes, Jacob does decide to heavily defend the corner, and Harry Power goes through clean on it. So Harry Power hasn't missed out on a lot. You know, letting the drive through, fantastic act, and it will be remembered, I'm sure, by Adam Sherbet. It will be remembered, but he hasn't lost out a lot. He's only lost one position, and you know, David Roger under investigation for a potential penalty. He may just keep that position back. So, going into the last minute now of the race. So we're just looking for Soren. It looks like we can get 2 more laps of racing here, because Soren is due to cross the line roughly about 5 seconds, and it's 1 minute 30 left on the clock. So it's going to be 2 more laps of racing here. In terms of fastest lap, Soren has just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 5.648. A very fast lap time, and nobody is getting close to that. George Iliev on that last lap, a 1 minute 5.895, but it's still 2/10, and he's got nobody to drag off. So, you know, at the moment, Soren's heading towards a 54-point result, which is fantastic, you know, for him. It's exactly what he wanted. Talking to him earlier, I said to him, you know, to win the sprint race, get the fastest lap, and win the A final, it's not an easy feat. And he said, just, you know, let me do it. And absolutely, at the moment, you know, he is doing it. And he's on his way towards a win here and the fastest lap. I don't think any drivers will be able to match that. Everyone is just so spread out at the moment. Looking down the order, Adam Sherbet is pulled away now from Harry Power. Harry Power is the only driver who looks to be under pressure ever so slightly towards his final lap. Baptista has closed in on George Iliev, but just not enough. And this is going to be a fantastic victory. It's going to feel like a victory from George Iliev. And, you know, why wouldn't you call it a victory? It's going to score good silver tier points. As here's Jaco now. Jaco's finally pulled the pin on attacking as we now enter into the final lap. This is the final lap they're going to be going into. Will Jaco keep this one? Will Jaco be listening to the live stream? Because then he'll know it's the last lap. It'll be interesting to see as we now come through. Harry Power's just got to survive one more lap to finish in that top 5, which would be a great result for himself. And he does hold it for now. Goes quite thin on the entry, so it's going to be all momentum to Jaco here. And he does hold it. Yes, he holds it for now. But let's go back to the front at least for now. Let's go back to the driver who turned up, is the best way to put it. You know, he turned up today. Jim Paris, nowhere to be seen. Jarne Leemans, you know, the championship organizer, nowhere to be seen. And, you know, looking at that, the championship's going to be tighter than ever from this point onwards. And this is now the time where Soren needed to win. And he has won. He's won it all today. He's been flawless. But your winner today is Soren. Fantastic victory from him. And coming around the front of the corner, this will also feel like a victory. Just like I said, George Iliev in second position. Fantastic from George. I'm really happy for him. Great result. Baptista back on the podium. He wanted to be back on that podium. He said he could have won it, but he didn't. As I just believe Jaco has actually gotten past Harry Power, but he looks like he's dropped off again. No, it looks like Harry Power will inherit for at least 6th position for now, but there will be investigations over the other drivers. No, it looks like, I'm not sure, Jaco. Yes, Jaco takes 6th, and Harry Power finishes 7th, so there'll be investigations with the other drivers. But what a great race from all these drivers. And Jos Lanzardis coming through, unfortunately a lap down. You know, he didn't quite have the pace, I would say, for this race today. But listen, great effort from him. Fantastic racing from everybody today. And listen, I just want to say thank you, of course, to the fantastic Dunica for providing this live stream. It's much appreciated. I want to say thank you to all the team behind the scenes who help every week to make ACK run as hopefully as fluidly as possible. And it's been hard this week without certain people here to help. So I appreciate everybody for watching and taking part in ACK, of course. And we'll be back next week with round 9. There's only 2 rounds to go, and every single championship is open. So listen, thank you ever so much to everybody for watching the stream. It's much appreciated. If you want to get involved with the live stream, if you want to get involved with the championship, please get in touch. Please join the Discord, and we can help you out, I'm sure, to get racing. But thank you, everybody, and we'll see you all at round 9 next Thursday. Thank you. Goodbye.